The day you stop seeking attention and start building in silence is the day your life begins to change. Most people are loud when they start and quiet when they fail, but the ones who win, the ones who actually change their lives, are the ones who stay quiet, focused, and consistent. No noise, no explanations, just results. If you're always explaining your goals, posting your every move, or waiting for someone to notice your effort, you're draining your energy. You don't need applause, you need action. You don't need approval, you need self-respect. This world doesn't reward the loudest voice. It rewards the most disciplined mind. This video is for those who are tired of talking and ready to build. For those who are done chasing people and finally ready to chase purpose. You're not invisible. You're in preparation. You're not being overlooked. You're being tested. Focus on yourself. Work hard. Stay silent. Let your progress do the talking. That's how the real transformation begins. Chapter 1. Shut out the noise and take back your life. You've got to understand something. If you don't start protecting your mind, your time, and your energy, life will pass you by while you're stuck listening to opinions, distractions, and meaningless noise that adds no value to who you're becoming. This is your life, and you don't get a second shot at today. If you want to build something strong, if you want to change your life, you must first create a space for focus. You must shut out the noise. Noise comes in many forms. It's the endless opinions of people who aren't even walking your path. It's the constant scrolling that gives you nothing back. It's the gossip, the drama, the updates, the comparing. Every bit of that takes something from you. It robs you of time, of clarity, of peace. And if you don't stop it, you won't just lose focus, you'll lose your identity. You won't know what you truly want anymore, because your mind will be full of what everyone else is doing, saying, or thinking. You must get your life back by choosing silence. Not the kind of silence where nothing is happening, but the kind of silence where everything real begins. You shut off the outside world and start listening to yourself again. You sit with your goals. You write them down. You look at your current habits and you ask yourself, is this helping me become the person I want to be? Most people don't ask that. Most people are too busy reacting to life instead of creating it. You're not supposed to be everywhere. You're not supposed to know what everyone's doing. You're supposed to be here, on your own track, doing the work that matters to you. Because the truth is, growth is quiet. Progress is quiet. Mastery is quiet. That's why people miss it. They think if no one's watching, it doesn't matter. But the reality is, what you do when no one is watching is exactly what builds your future. You see, if your mind is filled with noise, you can't think clearly. You can't create. You can't improve. And if you're constantly seeking validation or attention, you'll never get deep enough to make a lasting change. So what do? You start by cutting out the noise. That might mean stepping away from people who drain your energy. That might mean limiting how much time you spend online. That might mean choosing not to explain yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. It might mean fewer conversations and more execution. You don't need approval to grow. You don't need a crowd to start. You need clarity, and you can't get that until you remove what doesn't belong in your life anymore. Some people won't understand your silence. That's fine. Some people will think you're being distant. That's fine too. You're not here to entertain them. You're here to build. You're here to take yourself seriously. Because nobody else will if you don't. When you stop responding to everything that doesn't need your attention, something changes. You start to feel stronger inside. You begin to think for yourself again. You realize how much time and energy you were wasting, and you get to work on what actually matters. You get more done in a week of focused effort than in a month of being distracted. It's not about being perfect, it's about getting real with yourself. If you want to become someone better, you have to get honest about what's holding you back. You can't fix your life by pretending everything's fine while your focus is scattered and your mind is exhausted. You've got to slow things down. Think clearly. Get organized. Set real priorities. Not everything deserves your energy. Not everyone gets access to your mind. You're allowed to say no. You're allowed to disappear for a while and work on yourself. That's not weakness. That's maturity. That's power. You grow in silence. You heal in silence. You build in silence. And when you come back, if you choose to come back, you do it as someone sharper, someone better, someone who finally took their life into their own hands. The people who win in life are not the loudest. They are the most focused. They know what they want, and they do the work. Day by day, without needing recognition, without needing applause. They keep showing up. They keep learning. They keep fixing what's broken inside of them. They use their silence as fuel. Ask yourself, who am I listening to right now? What am I letting into my mind every single day? And is it helping me grow? Or is it keeping me stuck? Be honest. Because if you want to live with purpose, if you want to feel strong again, you've got to start shutting the door on what doesn't belong in your life anymore. And that includes your own negative thoughts. Yes, sometimes the loudest noise isn't from outside, it's from your own head. That voice that says you're not good enough. That tells you it's too late. That says nobody cares. You've got to silence that too. Not by fighting it, but by proving it wrong. Every single day. You get up. You do the work. You improve something. Anything. And in time that voice loses power. You don't need more motivation. You need more silence. You need less input and more intention. Stop trying to do what everybody else is doing. Start doing what you know is right for you. That's how you get your life back. That's how you stop being pulled in every direction and start moving forward with strength, with purpose, quietly, powerfully. You don't have to announce what you're building. Just build it. You don't have to explain your goals. Just go after them. The world will notice in time. But for now, shut out the noise. Focus on you, and start taking your life seriously. One step at a time. One day at a time. You owe yourself that. Chapter 2. Start each day doing what truly matters most. There's a difference between being busy and being effective. Every day, people wake up and rush into activities, overwhelmed with tasks that feel urgent but aren't important. And by the end of the day, they're exhausted, but nothing in their life has truly improved. If you want to change your life, the first thing you must fix is how you start your day. Because the way you begin sets the tone for everything that follows. If you begin in chaos, distraction, or mindless routine, don't expect clarity or growth. But if you begin with intention, real intention, you build a life that actually moves forward. You need to wake up and take control before the world pulls you in every direction. And you don't need to do 100 things in the morning. You just need to do the right ones. Start with what matters. Start with what builds your mind, strengthens your discipline, and moves you closer to the life you said you wanted. If you don't take the lead, the day will control you. Messages, noise, comparison, and tasks will consume your attention. That's how people lose years of their life, chasing what never mattered, because they never pause to ask what does. Every morning, you have two choices. You either continue down the same path, or you make a small shift that changes everything. That shift begins with one simple question: what really matters today? Not to the world, not to social media, not to your old habits, but to you. What actually matters to your growth, your peace, your strength, your long-term future. You don't need motivation. You need clarity. You need to stop and define what progress looks like for you today. And it has to be specific. It can't be vague. Vague goals don't move people. Clarity gives you direction. Maybe it's finishing something you've been putting off. Maybe it's spending time improving a skill that will change your income. Maybe it's doing the uncomfortable task that you keep running from. That's what matters most. It's not always exciting. It's not always loud. But it moves the needle in your life. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking they need to do everything in one day. They overload their morning with plans, promises, and pressure. But your morning doesn't need to be dramatic. It needs to be disciplined. You're not racing. You're building. You're not performing for others. You're building yourself. You're setting your foundation. The goal is to begin with control, not chaos. And you don't get control by checking your phone the moment you wake up. You don't get clarity by letting other people's opinions flood your mind before your feet hit the ground. You get it by slowing down, sitting in silence, writing down what matters, prioritizing one or two things that, if done, would make your day meaningful. When you start with purpose, you end with progress. The hard part is that what matters most is often what you avoid the most. It's the workout you skip. It's the book you haven't opened. It's the decision you've been delaying. But the longer you avoid it, the more power it takes from you. And when you finally face it first thing in the morning, you take that power back. You start proving to yourself that you are serious. And that quiet confidence, that feeling of knowing you're doing what's right, that's the fire that keeps you moving forward long after motivation fades. You don't need to change your whole life in a week. You need to do what matters today. Then repeat that again tomorrow. That's where your real power is. Most people are reactive. They spend their mornings thinking about what they have to do. But successful people shift that. They start by deciding what they choose to do. That subtle change in language flips the mindset from victim to leader. And if you want to lead your life, you must own your choices every morning. And it's not just about career or money. Doing what matters means protecting your mental health too. It means not letting negative thoughts take over. It means not allowing old habits to dictate your behavior. It means caring for your body, your focus, and your energy like they actually matter, because they do. If your mornings drain you, your whole day suffers. But if your mornings feed you, mentally, emotionally, physically, you become unstoppable. It's not always easy. Sometimes you'll wake up tired. Sometimes you'll feel uninspired. Sometimes your mind will pull you back into old routines. But that's exactly when you must remind yourself, you're not doing this for comfort, you're doing this for your future. Every single day you start strong is a message to your mind. You are in charge now. Success isn't built on random bursts of energy. It's built on habits. It's built on structure. It's built on the little decisions that no one sees but shape everything. When you commit to starting your day right, without excuses, without distractions, without needing praise, you create a foundation so strong that setbacks can't shake you. You begin the day with momentum, and that momentum spills into everything else you do. If you've been waiting for the right time to focus on yourself, stop waiting. Mornings are your opportunity. They are your reset button. Every single day you wake up is a second chance. Don't waste it repeating the same patterns that keep you stuck. Break them. Replace them. Start small. Start with what you can control, and make it count. You don't need permission to live differently. You don't need someone to push you. You've already felt what it's like to waste time. You've already seen what happens when you let the day run you. It's time to flip that. It's time to take the first hour of your day and use it to build the person you said you wanted to become. Do the hard thing first. Take care of your priorities first. Make the uncomfortable call. Finish the thing you started. Keep your promises to yourself. Because when you do what matters first, everything else gets easier. Your mind is lighter. Your energy is higher. You stop walking around with guilt, shame, or frustration about what you didn't do. You move through your day with strength. And the people around you will notice. Not because you're telling them, but because you're showing up differently, quietly, consistently. Every morning is a mirror. It shows you what you truly care about. Not what you say matters, but what you choose to act on. So if your days feel out of control, don't blame the world. Look at how you're starting them. Look at the habits, the thoughts, the routines, and start replacing what's not working. There will always be distractions. There will always be noise. But none of that matters if you are locked in on what needs to be done. And that starts from the moment you wake up. Take your power back. Don't give your mornings to the world. Don't hand your attention to meaningless things. Guard your time like your life depends on it. Because it does. One decision, one routine, one habit, one morning at a time. If you want real change, stop looking at the entire staircase. Just take the first step every day, with focus, with energy, with commitment. You'll be surprised how far that one change will take you. Start each day, doing what truly matters most. That's how transformation begins. Quietly, consistently, for real. Chapter 3. Remove what drains you and stay with your plan. Most people don't fail because they're lazy. They fail because they're drained. Their energy is scattered. Their time is stolen. Their emotions are tangled in things that don't help them grow. They have a plan, a dream, even a desire to change. But they're surrounded by too much that pulls them off course. And if you don't remove what drains you, no plan will work. No goal will last. You can't move forward while you're carrying what keeps holding you back. You need to get serious about your energy. Not just your physical energy, but your mental energy, your emotional focus, your attention span. Every person you talk to, every habit you keep, every environment you stay in, that's either fueling you or draining you. And if you don't stop to check, you'll keep losing strength without even realizing why. There are people in your life who don't add anything to your growth. They interrupt your peace. They bring stress, complaints, and distractions. They expect your time but never respect your direction. And the longer you stay connected to that kind of energy, the more you forget who you are and where you're going. You don't need to fight them. You don't need to argue, but you do need distance. You need space to breathe again, to think clearly, to remember what you're really trying to build. There are habits that slowly steal your drive. They don't seem dangerous at first, but over time they take your focus, your discipline, your confidence. Scrolling for hours, watching too much, saying yes to everything, being busy with nothing meaningful. These things seem small, but they eat your days. They break your rhythm. And before you know it, another week has passed, and you're no closer to the life you want. It's time to clean your space. Not just your room. Not just your schedule. Your entire environment. Look at everything around you and ask, does this support who I want to become? If the answer is no, it's draining you. Even if it's familiar, even if it's comfortable, Just because something has been in your life for a long time doesn't mean it belongs in your future. If it's not helping you grow, it's slowing you down. You can't keep holding on to everything and expect to stay strong. Strength isn't about carrying it all. Strength is about knowing what to carry and what to leave behind. You don't need more hours in the day. You need fewer distractions. You need to simplify your direction. You need to protect your mind. There are thoughts that drain you too. Doubts, guilt, overthinking, replaying mistakes, worrying about what people think, holding on to fear. These thoughts don't help you. They block your focus. They blur your vision. And they steal your peace. You've got to become more aware of what's going on in your own head. You've got to stop giving time to thoughts that don't serve your progress. When they show up, notice them. Pause. Choose a better response. Bring your attention back to your plan. Your plan deserves your full attention. Not leftovers. Not whatever energy is left after dealing with everyone and everything else. If your plan matters, it must come first. You have to protect it. You have to build a wall around it. You have to stop letting people interrupt your momentum. Not everyone needs to know what you're working on. Not everyone needs to have access to your time. You have to be selective, because your future depends on it. Staying with your plan means doing what you said you would do, even when no one reminds you, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it. It means showing up for yourself, because if you keep quitting every time something gets uncomfortable, you'll never build anything strong. You'll always be starting over. You'll always be chasing the next thing, instead of finishing what's in front of you. When you remove what drains you, you gain something powerful, clarity. You begin to see where your time was going. You start to feel your strength return. You begin to move faster, think sharper, and feel lighter. And in that space, your plan becomes easier to follow, because you're no longer distracted. You're no longer pulled in every direction. You're focused. You're present. You're serious. The truth is, most people never get where they want to go because they refuse to make hard decisions. They stay around people they've outgrown. They hold on to habits that no longer serve them. They keep routines that waste their energy. And they wonder why they feel stuck. It's not because they're not capable. It's because they haven't made the choice to cut loose what holds them down. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be honest. Look at your life and ask, what's draining me right now? Then ask, what's one thing I can remove today? Start there. Small changes create real momentum. Don't try to fix everything in a day. Just be consistent. Keep removing what weakens you, and keep choosing what strengthens you. And remember, removing something doesn't always mean deleting it forever. Sometimes it means stepping back. Sometimes it means putting limits. Sometimes it means changing how much access it has to you. It's not about being cold. It's about being clear. Clear about your direction. Clear about your priorities. Clear about your energy. When you stay with your plan long enough, you begin to trust yourself. You don't need outside approval anymore. You don't need reminders. You don't keep restarting. You build something solid inside. Self-respect. And that's what gives you momentum. That's what makes your progress real. You're not being pulled by emotion anymore. You're guided by commitment. Every time you say no to something that drains you, you say yes to something that builds you. Every time you protect your energy, you protect your future. And the more you do this, the more your life begins to reflect the person you're becoming. People will notice the difference. You'll walk differently, think differently, speak differently. Not because you're pretending, but because you're finally aligned with your purpose. This is not about being selfish. This is about being responsible. Your time, your energy, your focus, these are your tools. If you waste them, you suffer. If you manage them, you grow. And the choice is yours. Every day. So from now on, before you say yes, ask yourself, will this drain me or drive me? Before you start your day, ask, am I giving energy to the right things? And throughout the day, check in, am I staying with my plan or am I getting pulled away again? Those small questions keep you grounded. They keep you honest. They keep you moving. You're not here to be everything to everyone. You're here to become who you were meant to be. And to do that you must make room for growth. That means removing what no longer fits, what no longer inspires, what no longer supports. And in that space, build something better. Build your focus. Build your discipline. Build your life, step by step, without letting the outside world wear you down. You have everything you need inside you. But that strength can only rise when you stop pouring yourself into things that leave you empty. Protect your peace. Stick to your path. And never forget, your energy is your responsibility. Use it wisely. Stay with your plan, no matter what. Chapter 4. Say less and let your actions build your name. Most people spend more time talking about what they want than doing what it takes to get there. They speak big about their goals, they post about their plans, they tell everyone what they're going to do, but when the day ends, nothing has moved, nothing has changed, no real work got done, and deep down, they know it. That's why there's frustration. That's why confidence stays low. You can't build a strong life by talking. You build it by doing. And if you want people to respect your name, stop announcing and start working. There's power in silence. When you say less, you have more room to act. When you don't need to explain or prove yourself, you free your energy to focus on what really matters. And what matters is progress. What matters is showing up, not once, not loud, but every day, quietly, consistently, without needing attention. That's where reputation is built. That's where self-respect grows. Not from noise, but from results. You don't need to convince anyone of who you are. You don't need to keep proving your worth through words. Your value is in your actions. It's in how you live. It's in how you treat people. It's in how you keep your word when no one's checking. The strongest people don't talk about discipline. They show discipline. They don't argue about success. They show success through how they work, how they move, how they stay focused when others get distracted. If you're always talking, you miss the time to create. And if you're always explaining, you'll attract people who don't believe in you until they see something big. That's not who you need. You don't need to chase validation. You don't need the world to agree. You need to keep working when the room is empty. When there are no likes, no feedback, no praise. That's when your future is actually being built. You don't have to post everything. You don't have to tell everyone what your next move is. There's a different level of strength that comes when you're able to hold your progress in your heart, stay quiet, and keep grinding. Because you're not working for applause, you're working for transformation. You're not trying to impress people, you're trying to change your life. And if that's real for you, then silence becomes your strength. People waste energy trying to look successful, instead of doing what will actually make them successful. They dress the part, talk the part, but they're not putting in the hours. They want the name without the habits. But life doesn't work that way. Life rewards the ones who show up when it's hard. The ones who don't need to be seen to stay committed. The ones who say less and do more. Not because they're trying to prove anything, but because they've made a decision. You don't need to respond to every doubt. You don't need to answer every question. The best response is progress. When people see your results, they understand, and if they don't, that's not your concern. You're not building your life for their approval. You're doing it because you have a vision. And visions require energy. Talking drains that energy. Working protects it. Some people will try to pull you into conversations that don't help you grow. They'll try to distract you with small talk, with opinions, with drama. Don't let them. Be polite. Be respectful. But stay on your path. You're not here to explain your journey to everyone. You're here to live it. And the truth is, the ones who are really winning, they don't have time to explain. They're too busy creating, building, improving. There's a kind of peace that comes when you stop talking about what you're doing and just do it. You wake up, you get to work, you handle what needs to be done. You don't complain, you don't overthink. You move, you show up. And slowly, you start to see changes. Not just outside, but inside. You feel stronger. You feel focused. You feel clear. Talking about success too early can actually take momentum away from you. The brain gets a quick reward from announcing things, but then it relaxes. You feel like you've already made progress, just because you said something. But nothing actually moved. That's why silence matters. Silence keeps you hungry. It keeps you humble. It keeps you honest with yourself. Are you doing the work, or just talking about it? Every time you choose to act instead of speak, you build trust with yourself. That's where real confidence comes from. Not from hyping yourself up, but from seeing yourself follow through. Day by day, quietly, you finish what you start. You build what you dream about. You give your time to the process, not the spotlight. In time your work speaks louder than you ever could. People will see the difference. They'll feel it when they're around you. You won't have to say much. They'll see the discipline. They'll notice the growth. They'll respect how you carry yourself, not because you told them who you are, but because your actions made it clear. This doesn't mean you never speak. It means you choose your words wisely. You use your voice with purpose. You don't need to overshare. You don't need to announce your every move. You speak with intention. Then you get back to work. And when you live like that, your voice becomes stronger. Because it's backed by action. Because it's real. Let people wonder what you're building. Let them question your silence. Let them guess. You don't owe anyone a preview. What you owe yourself is commitment. What you owe your future is follow through. And every time you focus on what you're doing, instead of what you're saying, you get closer to the life you want. People may not understand your discipline right now. That's okay. They may think you've gone quiet or pulled back. That's okay too. In a world full of noise, stillness is rare. In a world full of talkers, builders stand out. Stay quiet. Stay steady. Keep stacking your days. Let your habits build your name. Let your discipline build your reputation. And when the results come, and they will, you won't have to say a word. The people who once doubted you will fall silent. The ones who laughed won't have anything left to say. And you won't need to say, "I told you so." You'll just keep going. Because now it's not about proving anyone wrong. It's about proving yourself right. It's about honoring the effort you gave in silence. It's about respecting the journey. That's how real names are built. That's how strong reputations are formed. Quietly, on the foundation of consistent work. Without begging for attention. Without announcing every step. Without asking for validation. Just doing the work. Every day. With heart. With purpose. With patience. So start today. Talk less. Do more. Say what needs to be said. Then get to work. Let your habits speak. Let your results lead. Let your growth be your reply to everything. That's how you become someone worth watching, without saying a thing. Chapter 5. Do the work even when nobody claps for you. Most people want recognition before they've earned results. They want applause, support, attention, and praise just for starting. But the truth is, real progress happens in silence. It happens when no one's watching, when no one's cheering, and when no one cares about your effort but you. That's when it counts. That's when the work really matters. Because if you only show up when you feel supported, you'll never last. Growth requires a different kind of mindset. You have to be able to do the work even when nobody claps for you. This world is loud. It's full of people trying to be seen. But real strength is built in quiet moments. The hours when it's just you and your goal. No spotlight, no recognition, no feedback, just the task, just the next step, just the hard truth that nobody owes you applause for doing what you're supposed to do. You learn to keep going without waiting for approval. You learn to validate yourself by your own effort. Most people give up, not because they don't have potential, but because they expected someone to cheer them on at every step. They wanted someone to notice. They wanted someone to say, "You're doing great." And when they didn't hear it, they stopped. But you can't build anything that lasts with that mindset. If you need a round of applause every time you make a move, you'll stay stuck. You'll be a slave to opinions. You'll lose your path chasing attention. The truth is, nobody claps for discipline. Nobody celebrates the early mornings, the quiet nights, the countless hours of repetition. Nobody sees the internal battle, the decision to stay focused, to avoid comfort, to keep going when the results are slow. But that's where greatness lives. It lives in the parts nobody sees. And if you can stay strong there, you can build something powerful. When you commit to doing the work without applause, you build inner strength. You learn to trust yourself. You stop needing outside validation to feel good. You stop depending on people to push you. That's freedom. That's how you take full control of your growth. You wake up, you get to work, and you keep going because it matters to you. Not because you want likes. Not because you want to be seen, but because you've made a decision to change your life. There will be days when you question if it's worth it. Days when you wonder if anyone even notices your effort. Days when it feels like you're doing everything right, and still nothing's moving. And those days will test your character. They'll ask you one thing: are you serious or just excited? Excitement fades, but seriousness stays. If you're serious, you'll keep going even when the room is silent, even when there's no reward, even when the results are slow. That's how real success is built, on quiet, consistent work. The people who win are not the loudest. They're the most consistent. They don't need to be hyped. They don't need constant motivation. They don't ask for recognition. They just keep moving. They work when it's boring. They work when it's hard. They work when it feels invisible. And that's why they rise. Because while others stop, when nobody's clapping, they keep showing up. The world may not celebrate your process, but it will respect your results. And those results don't come from talking. They don't come from hoping. They come from doing. Again and again, with patience, with discipline, with faith that what you're doing will pay off, even if it's not today. You can't skip the quiet stage. That's where you become who you need to be. It's easy to feel discouraged when no one supports you. But you must remember, You are not doing this for attention. You are doing this because you want more for yourself. You want a different life, a stronger mind, a higher standard, and nobody can give that to you but you. It's your job to keep showing up when it's hard. It's your job to put in the effort when no one's clapping. Some people will never see your effort. That's okay. Some people won't understand your silence. That's okay too. You don't owe anyone an explanation. You don't need to announce every move. You need to do the work. That's how you earn respect quietly, over time. Not by asking for it, but by becoming someone who deserves it. Every great life is built on invisible effort. The athlete who trains before the sun rises. The entrepreneur who works after everyone's asleep. The student who studies when their friends are out. None of them are being celebrated in those moments. But that's where the difference is made. That's where the gap is created. While most are waiting to be noticed, the serious ones are building, quietly, consistently. You can't fake real progress. You can't skip steps. You can't expect the world to clap for every sacrifice. This is your journey, and it will feel lonely at times. But that loneliness teaches you focus. It teaches you responsibility. It teaches you how to carry your dream without needing applause to keep going. Your name will not be built by the things you say. It will be built by the hours you give when no one is looking. The times you push yourself when no one is watching. The small improvements you make when no one is cheering. That's how you separate yourself. Not in noise, but in silence. In the work that compounds quietly, until one day it shows up loud. And when that day comes, when people start noticing your growth, they'll ask how you did it. They'll wonder how you stayed focused, how you kept going. And the answer will be simple. You did the work. Even when no one clapped. Even when no one cared. Even when you had every reason to quit. You won't need to shout. You won't need to defend your path. Your results will speak for you. Your actions will show your strength. And the people who once overlooked you will have no choice but to respect what you built. But even then you won't need their applause, because by then you'll have something greater, self-respect. You'll know that you built your life with your own hands, your own mind, your own effort, and no one can take that from you. Keep going, even if it's quiet, even if it feels slow, even if nobody sees you yet. The work is shaping you, it's preparing you. And one day it will reward you, not just with success but with strength, clarity, and the kind of confidence that only comes from showing up when nobody claps. Chapter 6. Train your focus like your life depends on it. Focus is not something you're born with, it's something you train, and if you don't train it, you lose it. In a world full of noise, attention is currency. The more control you have over your focus, the more power you have over your life. The problem is, most people have let their focus be controlled by everything around them. Their phone, their habits, their environment, their emotions, everything pulls their attention in a different direction. That's why nothing gets done. That's why goals stay untouched. That's why dreams feel far away. Because the mind is everywhere except where it should be. You have to decide how serious you are about your life. Because if you're serious, then your ability to focus must become a priority. Not a side task. Not something you fix when you have time. But something you commit to every single day. If you can't control where your attention goes, then you can't control your results. You can't make progress in anything if your mind keeps wandering. Real improvement takes deep attention. Without that, you'll always start and never finish. Focus is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it gets. But the more you ignore it, the weaker it becomes. Most people have trained themselves to be distracted. Every few minutes they check their phone, they switch tabs, they jump from one task to another without finishing anything. That's not multitasking. That's mental damage. That's how you destroy your ability to stay with something long enough to make it work. If that becomes normal, nothing meaningful can grow in your life. If your focus is weak, everything becomes harder. Conversations are shallow. Learning feels boring. Work feels chaotic. You forget what you were doing. You can't stay with one thing. You feel overwhelmed, even when the tasks are small. That's not laziness. That's a broken focus. And the only way to fix it is to start giving your attention the same kind of care you give your body or your goals. You've got to work on it. You've got to guard it. You've got to stop giving it away to things that don't matter. You train your focus by choosing what matters most and removing what doesn't. Every morning, you need to be clear about your direction. What are the top 2 or 3 things that deserve your attention today? Write them down. Make them visible. Then shut the door on everything else. No multitasking. No bouncing between random tasks. One thing at a time. Complete it. Then move to the next. That's how real progress happens. It's not easy at first. Your mind will try to pull you back into old patterns. It will crave stimulation, noise, something quick. That's how it's been wired. But if you want a better life, you have to rewire it. And that starts by doing the opposite of what you've been doing. You sit with your work. You stay with the discomfort. You push through the boredom, because that's where discipline is built. You also need to change your environment. If your space is full of distractions, your mind will follow them. Your surroundings should support your focus, not challenge it. Keep your phone away while you're working. Turn off the noise. Close the extra tabs. Get everything out of your way that doesn't help you finish. Because every small distraction adds up. And when your focus breaks, it takes time to get it back. Your mind needs space to think clearly. It needs silence. It needs stillness. And it needs direction. You have to guide it. You have to train it. Not once in a while, but every day. You can't expect to live a focused life if you spend hours feeding your brain with random information. Cut the excess. Limit the noise. Be intentional with what you read, what you watch, and who you give your time to. You also have to stop letting your emotions control your attention. Just because you feel tired or bored doesn't mean you should quit the task. Just because something else seems more exciting doesn't mean it deserves your time. Your emotions will often try to escape focus, but you can't follow them. You have to lead them. You have to stay with your work even when it's not fun. That's how focus gets stronger. Real focus feels different. You stop thinking about time. You stop worrying about other things. You get lost in the task. You become present, and in that state your best work comes out. You learn faster. You create better. You solve problems more clearly. That's when you're fully locked in. That's when you're in control. When you train your focus, you take back your time. You get more done in 2 focused hours than in 8 distracted ones. You stop feeling rushed. You stop feeling overwhelmed. Because now you're moving with clarity. You're doing what matters. You're finishing what you start, and every time you finish, your confidence grows. You start believing in your ability to handle pressure, to stay committed, to deliver. That belief stays with you. Distractions will never fully disappear, but your response to them can change. When you hear your phone buzz, you don't need to react. When your mind drifts, You don't have to follow it. You pause, you breathe, you return to your task. That simple habit, returning your attention, strengthens your mind. It builds resilience. It gives you an edge that most people don't have. You must also learn to rest your mind. Not with noise, but with real rest. Take breaks. Go for walks. Breathe deeply. Spend time in silence. These moments recharge your focus. They clear the mental clutter. They help you return to your work sharper. You don't need to grind non-stop. You need to work deeply. Then rest smart. That's how you stay consistent. There will be days when you feel scattered. Don't panic. Don't give up. Just notice it. Reset. Start again. Focus is not about being perfect. It's about returning. It's about choosing the task again and again, until your mind learns that you mean it. Until focus becomes your normal state, not the exception. The more you train your focus, the more your life improves. You stop wasting energy on meaningless things. You stop chasing too many goals. You stay with what matters. You finish more. You stress less. You live with purpose. And people will notice. They'll feel the difference in how you speak, how you work, how you carry yourself. Focus sharpens everything. Don't wait to start. Begin now. Choose one thing. Turn off the noise. Set a timer if you need to. And stay with that one thing until it's done. Then do it again tomorrow. And the next day. That's how you train your focus. That's how you take back control. That's how you build a mind that's calm, sharp, and unshakable. Train your focus like your life depends on it, because it does. Chapter 7. Keep building quietly no matter who's watching you. You don't need an audience to become someone great. You don't need eyes on you, praise around you, or people checking in on your progress to keep moving forward. If you're waiting for someone to watch before you start building, you'll waste your life in delay. Progress does not belong to those who need attention. It belongs to those who work when it's quiet, when no one notices, and when no one gives them a reason to continue except themselves. The real builders, the real winners, they don't wait for applause. They create without noise. When you build quietly, you take pressure off your shoulders. You stop thinking about how things look to other people, and you start focusing on doing what's right for your life. You stop needing to explain what you're doing, and instead, you give all that energy to doing it. Most people don't realize how much of their progress is blocked by constantly trying to be seen. They want to be noticed, validated, and understood. But none of that builds anything real. What builds something real is time, consistency, and commitment, especially when nobody's watching. You must reach a point where the work is no longer about how it looks, but about how it feels. Where your routine matters more than recognition, where your growth means more than approval. If your motivation depends on people watching, you'll collapse the moment they stop. You'll slow down when attention fades. You'll give up when no one shows interest. But if you can keep building in silence, with nothing but your own vision to drive you, you become unshakable. Most people slow down when they think no one cares. They convince themselves it doesn't matter because no one is cheering. But the truth is, the work still counts. Every quiet effort adds up. Every private decision makes you stronger. And while others are looking for attention, you're gaining something deeper, real strength, real character, real results. That's how long-term success is built, not by showing off, but by showing up. You have to stop looking around for who's impressed. You have to stop checking who's noticing. You need to care less about how it's perceived, and care more about how you live. Some days people will support you. Some days they'll disappear, some will doubt you, some will misunderstand you. That's fine, keep building, because you're not doing this for them, you're doing it for your future. You're doing it to grow, to learn, to get better, not to be watched. There's something powerful about showing up for yourself when there's no one to impress. It teaches you discipline, it teaches you patience, it teaches you to listen to your own voice instead of waiting for someone else to encourage you. You begin to understand that your power isn't in being seen, it's in being consistent, and that kind of power builds confidence that no one can take away from you. Let people talk. Let them guess what you're up to. Let them wonder. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't owe anyone a detailed breakdown of your process. If you keep building long enough, the results will speak. Not through words, but through the way you live, the way you move, the way you carry yourself. There's a certain freedom in not needing to be watched. You work with less pressure. You think more clearly. You take bigger risks because you're not afraid of judgment. You experiment, you grow, you mess up, and you learn. And all of that happens without an audience. That's where true transformation takes place. Quiet places, private choices, silent decisions that shape everything. It's easy to want recognition. It's normal to want support. But don't make it your fuel. Don't wait for it to show up. Give it to yourself. Support yourself with action. Encourage yourself with progress. Celebrate your effort, not for what it looks like, but for what it's building inside you. Quiet work changes you. And change doesn't need a stage. Some people will never understand why you've gone quiet. Why you're not posting as much. Why you're not explaining your every move. Let them think what they want. You're not going backwards. You're going inward. You're going deeper. You're putting energy where it counts, in habits, in mindset, in consistency, not in performance, not in approval. And here's the truth, some of your biggest breakthroughs will happen when no one else is around. The moments when you're tired, when you feel alone, when you wonder if it's even worth it, but you still show up. That decision, that discipline, builds something no applause ever could. You'll walk differently, not because you want to be seen, but because you know what you've overcome. Your focus has to be stronger than your need to be seen. Your commitment has to be deeper than your desire to be liked. Your discipline has to be louder than the distractions. Every time you feel like giving up, because no one's watching, remind yourself, you didn't start this journey to be seen. You started it to change your life. Work when no one checks on you. Train when no one asks. Study when no one's keeping score. Improve when no one expects it. Because in time, all of that quiet effort becomes something visible, something undeniable. But by then you won't care about the recognition. You'll be so used to working for yourself that the praise will just be background noise. You'll take it, but you won't need it. That's freedom. You must protect your mind from the addiction to attention. You must be able to enjoy your progress without needing an audience. That's when you know you're really growing. You're not working to impress. You're working to evolve. You're not driven by who's watching. You're driven by who you're becoming. So don't worry about the followers. Don't chase the claps. Don't post your goals for validation. Keep your head down. Stay focused. Work in silence. And let the changes show when they're ready. People may never see the hours you put in. They may not understand your silence. But the results will make it clear. You'll be more grounded. You'll move with confidence. You'll speak with clarity. Not because you rehearsed, but because you lived it. You earned it. You built it while no one was looking, and no one can take that from you. This is your life. These are your habits. This is your responsibility. You can't afford to stop every time someone stops watching. You can't afford to need attention to keep going. That mindset keeps people stuck. You're here to move forward. No matter what. Quietly, fully, seriously. So wake up and get to work. Stay with it. Don't announce it. Build it. Don't talk about it. Show up again today. And again tomorrow. One step, one task, one decision at a time. It doesn't matter who sees it. What matters is that you keep going. Keep building quietly, no matter who's watching you. Because when it's real, it doesn't need to be loud. When it's right, it doesn't need to be explained. And when it's finished, it will speak for itself. Chapter 8. Drop the need for praise and trust your grind. You don't need someone to pat you on the back every time you make a move. You don't need people clapping for you to know that you're doing the right thing. And you definitely don't need outside praise to stay committed to your path. If you keep chasing compliments, you'll keep slowing down your progress. You'll look over your shoulder more than you look ahead. And that's not how strong lives are built. If you're serious about your future, you've got to drop the need for praise and start trusting your grind. It feels good when people notice you. It feels nice when someone says, "I see how hard you're working." But that can't be the reason you work, because people are inconsistent. Some will support you today and disappear tomorrow. Some will cheer for you one moment and criticize you the next. And some won't say anything at all, no matter how well you're doing. You can't let their silence break your focus. You can't let their words become the fuel for your effort. That kind of motivation is weak. It doesn't last. What lasts is the work you do, the discipline you build, the effort you keep showing up with, even when no one notices. There's a trap in needing praise. It trains your mind to work for rewards instead of results. It teaches you to depend on approval instead of building your own confidence. Over time, you start performing instead of progressing. You start doing things to look good instead of doing what's hard but necessary. That mindset keeps people stuck. They look successful but they're not growing. They're busy being seen, not becoming better. Your grind is something personal. It's between you and your goals. It's between you and the life you know you're capable of living. And if you're serious, you've got to respect the process even when no one's watching. You've got to stay consistent when the feedback is silent. You've got to believe in your effort without needing someone else to confirm it for you. That's how real progress happens. Through trust, through patience, through inner strength. Some of your most important wins won't come with applause. They won't be loud. They won't be shared. But they'll be powerful. Finishing something you started. Showing up even when you felt tired. Saying no to a bad habit. Pushing through discomfort. Those moments don't always look like success from the outside, but they're building something strong on the inside. And if you can stay committed through those moments, you'll become someone people can't ignore, even if they try. You've got to train yourself to stay grounded. Don't let praise change your rhythm. Don't let it make you soft. Stay hungry. Stay focused. Keep building. When someone compliments you, be grateful, but get back to work. Don't let it distract you. And when there's silence, don't panic. Don't question yourself. Keep going. Trust that your grind will take you where you want to go, not because it's fast, but because it's consistent. It's easy to get caught up in trying to prove yourself, to show people you're worth respecting, to make them believe in you. But the truth is, the ones who matter will see it eventually, and the ones who don't weren't meant to be part of your journey. You don't need to push for validation. You need to push for improvement. You don't need to prove anything. You need to produce something. Sometimes you'll feel invisible. You'll work hard and no one will say a word. You'll give your best, and it might feel like nobody cares. But that's not a reason to stop. That's a test to see if you're really about it. A test to see if your reason is strong. If you can keep going through the quiet, you're on the right track. Because anyone can work hard when people are watching. But not everyone can keep grinding when there's no spotlight. That's where the difference is made. You have to understand that not everyone will see the work you're doing. Not everyone will understand the sacrifices you're making. And not everyone will celebrate your effort. But none of that means you're not doing enough. It just means you're doing something real. And real things take time. Real results come from work that happens behind the scenes. From routines that no one applauds. From habits that no one talks about. Start looking at your grind as a promise to yourself. Not to impress. Not to compete. But to honor the life you want. Show up because you said you would. Do the work because you believe in what you're building. Keep going because stopping won't help you. Keep showing up because you know that success doesn't come to those who are seen. It comes to those who stay. When you trust your grind, you no longer need motivation from outside. You create your own drive. You don't chase attention, you chase growth. You don't work for praise, you work for results. And slowly everything starts changing. You get better, you move faster, you stay more focused. You stop depending on the world to keep you going. That's what gives you power. No one can take away what you build in silence. No one can steal the discipline you earn. No one can copy the habits you formed through years of effort. And no one can compete with the version of you that kept going without praise. That version of you is unstoppable. That version of you doesn't need to talk. The work speaks loud enough. You have to remember what you're doing this for. For the life you promised yourself. For the peace that comes with progress. For the feeling of knowing you didn't quit on yourself. That matters more than 1,000 compliments. Because praise fades. But progress lasts. And when the results show up, you'll be glad you kept going. You don't need to broadcast your every move. You don't need to convince anyone. Just keep putting in the time. Keep learning. Keep refining. Keep adjusting. Trust your rhythm. Trust your habits. Trust your decision to improve. It's not about who sees it. It's about who becomes it. And you're becoming someone different now. Someone better. Someone stronger. So today do the work. Even if it's quiet. Even if it goes unnoticed. Even if nobody says a word. Show up. Keep building. Keep growing. Let others chase praise. You chase progress. And in the end they'll wonder how you did it. But you'll know. You did it because you dropped the need for praise and trusted your grind. Chapter 9. Level up every day without telling the world. Getting better doesn't need to be announced. Real progress doesn't need a post, a caption, or anyone's reaction. If you're serious about improving your life, you have to stop telling the world everything and start doing the work in silence. Growth is something you feel, not something you show off. You don't need to keep everyone updated on your journey. You need to stay focused on your next step. Every time you talk about what you're doing instead of actually doing it, you lose momentum. You begin to perform instead of improve. That's where most people fall off track. They get caught in the habit of being seen and forget the importance of becoming better when no one is watching. Each day is a new chance to level up. Not by making noise, but by making real change. You don't need to wake up and tell people your goals. You need to wake up and take action. The more you talk about it, the more your brain believes you've already done something, and that can create a false sense of progress. That's why it's dangerous to always share your plans. It gives you a quick emotional reward, but no real result. To truly get better, you have to focus more on execution than expression. That's how growth becomes real. There's nothing wrong with being proud of yourself, but you must understand this: external praise is not a requirement for personal growth. Most of the people you're telling won't help you stay committed. They'll hear it, move on, and forget. But you won't forget, because you're the one who has to live with whether or not you actually did it. So the question becomes, are you more interested in being known or being better? You can't serve both. One is built on discipline, the other on attention. One feeds your progress, the other feeds your ego. When you work quietly, your attention stays on what matters. You stop trying to impress people who don't understand your path. You stop explaining yourself to people who aren't invested in your goals. That gives you freedom. It gives you mental space to go deep into your work, to make mistakes, to learn and to improve without pressure. It also removes the noise, because when fewer people know what you're working on, there are fewer distractions, fewer opinions, and fewer chances for self-doubt to creep in. You start building for yourself, not for the crowd. Leveling up every day means being honest with yourself. It means checking in and asking, what did I improve today? It doesn't always have to be something big. Maybe you read something that changed your thinking. Maybe you handled a tough situation with more calm. Maybe you pushed through a task even when you felt tired. Those are wins, but you don't need to broadcast them. You just need to stack them, one by one, quietly, consistently. Over time, those small wins become a powerful transformation that speaks louder than any post or update ever could. You need to protect your energy. The more you talk, the more people feel entitled to your journey. They start giving opinions, advice, and judgment you didn't ask for. That can throw you off, especially if you're in the early stages of building something. Early progress is fragile. It needs protection. It needs silence. The best way to protect it is to keep it between you and your grind. You don't need noise to stay motivated. You need a reason, a clear reason why you're doing what you're doing. That reason should be enough to get you up every morning and push you through every challenge. Every single day you have a choice. You can talk about what you're going to do, or you can get up and do it. You can spend your time crafting an image, or you can spend your time building real skills. The people who really win are the ones who keep showing up without needing anyone to watch. They know that the process is more important than the performance. They understand that discipline is what creates results, not attention, and they live that truth every day by staying locked in on their own lane. You don't have to disappear from the world, but you do need to stop seeking approval for every step. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. Your progress is yours. Your effort is yours, and your life will change when you start respecting that process enough to keep it sacred. That doesn't mean you can't share your story. It means you share it after the work is done, not while it's being built. Let your growth show up in how you live, not in what you say. There will be days when you feel like no one sees your effort. That's normal. Don't let it weaken you. Let it strengthen you. Let it remind you that this is your responsibility. Nobody owes you applause. Nobody owes you recognition, and that's okay. The reward comes in the form of progress, in the form of self-respect, in the form of quiet strength that only comes from knowing you kept going when no one was looking. You have to be patient. Change takes time. It takes more than motivation. It takes habits. It takes repeated effort. It takes showing up on the days you don't feel like it. It takes learning even when you're tired. It takes pushing past excuses. And all of that happens in silence. behind closed doors, without anyone checking in. That's the part most people skip, and that's why most people stay the same. Your results don't come from how much you talk about them. They come from what you do when the world is quiet, from what you practice when the spotlight is off, from how you spend your time when no one's giving you credit. And when the time comes, the results will show. People will ask how you did it. They'll say it happened fast. But you'll know the truth. It was built daily, silently, through effort that didn't need to be seen. Make peace with being invisible for a while. Make peace with being misunderstood. Make peace with not getting praise. That peace will give you the space to grow. It will give you the focus to build without pressure. It will keep your energy clean, your path clear, and your mind sharp. Every time you level up without telling the world, you get stronger. You get more focused. You get more in tune with yourself. And that inner strength becomes the foundation of everything you're building. So keep going. Keep improving. Keep getting better in private. Because when it's real, you won't need to say a word. It'll show in how you walk, how you think, how you live. Let others talk. Let them post. Let them chase likes. You chase excellence. You chase discipline. You chase real change. And when it's ready, your growth will speak louder than anything you could have said. That's how you level up. Quietly, seriously, daily, and without needing the world to clap. Chapter 10. Work in peace, and let results speak for you. Peace is power. When your mind is calm, your decisions become clear. When your space is quiet, your actions become strong. You don't need noise around you to be productive. You don't need people checking on your every move. You don't need to prove anything with words. The world is already full of voices. Most are loud, few are focused. If you want to build something that lasts, you have to learn how to work in peace and let your results speak for you. You gain nothing by trying to convince people that you're working hard. Real effort doesn't need to be explained. Real progress doesn't need to be defended. When you're truly focused, you stop talking so much about what you're going to do. You don't chase approval. You don't look for recognition. You just keep your head down and handle what needs to be done. And day by day, your work starts speaking a language louder than anything you could ever say. Working in peace means setting boundaries. You choose what gets your attention. You become more selective with your time, your energy, and your thoughts. You don't allow small problems to steal your focus. You don't give space to distractions that don't deserve your effort. You stop entertaining drama, noise, and unnecessary opinions. You create space between you and anything that pulls you off your path. That space is where your clarity lives. That space is where your grind grows. You must protect your work environment. Whether it's a desk, a studio, or a quiet corner, it must be a place that supports your growth. You can't build anything meaningful if you're surrounded by chaos. You can't think clearly if your mind is always reacting. Peace is not the absence of effort, it's the foundation of deep effort. When you work in peace, your thoughts organize themselves. Your focus deepens. You stop rushing and start moving with intention. Many people work just to be seen. They want to be noticed, praised, and validated. They need reminders from others to keep going. But that approach doesn't build discipline, it builds dependence. And when the compliments stop, so does their effort. That's a weak foundation. If your progress depends on others clapping for you, you'll never last. But when you're at peace with your path, you don't need external motivation. You create your own. You stay consistent without being watched. Your work doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to be real. There's a calm confidence in people who know what they're building. They don't chase attention. They don't explain their goals to everyone. They're not loud. They're not dramatic. They're steady. And that steadiness creates results. And those results speak with volume, even in silence. There's power in not needing to explain yourself. You stop wasting time justifying your goals to people who don't understand them. You stop seeking opinions from people who don't live your life. Instead, you double down on your habits. You stay consistent with your routine. You take full control of your time. And you let your outcomes speak for themselves. You don't have to defend your journey. You don't have to talk about your progress while it's still in motion. People will see it when it's ready. And even if they don't, it doesn't matter. Because you didn't do it for them. You did it for you. For your future. For your peace of mind. And that alone makes it worth it. Learn to move quietly. Not because you're hiding, but because you're focused. Not because you're unsure, but because you're secure. Every day that you show up, every task you finish, every time you choose discipline over distraction, you grow. And that growth becomes a part of you. It shows in how you talk. It shows in how you carry yourself. It shows in the results that no one saw coming. People will try to test your patience. They'll try to pull you into arguments, into comparison, into noise. Stay out of it. That's not your fight. Your energy belongs to your mission. Let them talk. Let them wonder. You have nothing to prove. You have everything to build. And every minute spent defending yourself is a minute taken away from creating something meaningful. Stay humble. Stay disciplined. Let your actions explain everything. Let your work answer every question. You don't need to post about your hustle. You don't need to announce your next move. You need to focus. You need to keep stacking days. Keep building your system. Keep refining your skills. That's where the real shift happens. Not in the spotlight, but in the silence. Trust that the right people will notice. And even if they don't, your life will. You'll feel more control. You'll think more clearly. You'll handle challenges better. Because you worked in peace. Because you trained your mind. Because you kept showing up when it was boring. When it was hard. When no one clapped. That's what builds inner strength. That's what makes your growth permanent. When the results start showing up, they speak louder than you ever could. A stronger body, a clearer mind, a better routine, more confidence, more peace. That's what speaks. Not the words, not the updates, not the posts, the changes, the habits, the transformation. That's what people respect. That's what you carry with you long after the work is done. Don't get caught trying to rush your progress just to show it off. Take your time. Build slow if you have to. But build with care. Build with intention. Don't worry if it's taking longer than others. Your journey is yours. The best things take time. And while others are looking for shortcuts, you're building something that lasts. Quietly, strongly, with discipline that doesn't need an audience. There's a kind of freedom that comes when you stop needing people to believe in you. You free yourself from doubt. You stop measuring your worth through someone else's eyes. You begin to trust your own process. You begin to enjoy the work itself. And that joy, that quiet pride, becomes your fuel. You no longer rely on the outside world to tell you you're doing okay. You know you are, because you feel it. You see it. You live it. This kind of mindset doesn't come overnight. It takes effort to break the need for attention. It takes strength to walk away from the noise. But once you do, you realize how much better life becomes when your focus is clean, your peace is protected, and your energy is directed. You get more done. You feel lighter. and your work becomes something that reflects who you truly are, not who you're pretending to be. Keep your standards high, and your circle tight. Surround yourself with peace. Keep your eyes on your path. You don't have to win fast. You have to win real. And real success is quiet. It's not flashy. It's not loud. But it's unshakable. And it's yours if you keep going. So don't stop now. Don't slow down because nobody notices. Don't second-guess yourself because nobody claps. Stay locked in. Stay calm. Stay patient. You are building something real. Something lasting. Let your work grow in peace. And when the results come, they will speak for you in ways no words ever